I'm a part of a group that's left out. You know, I'm from Mississippi. There's Indian reservations down there. But trying to talk about that part of my ancestry is so challenging because, like you said, if you don't look a certain way, if I don't look indigenous in a way that is satisfiable, I'm nothing. And I experienced that last night. It was really hard to get up there and to talk about part of my ancestry that I've turned a blind eye to when moving to California because I didn't feel like I would fit in there. And you know, going home and crying and shedding tears about it, it was just like it woke me up to my truth in such a way. And so I'm really glad that you brought that up because it is really important because we're trying to figure out where we fit in these spaces.
Mhm.
And because of colorism and all of the other isms that are put into place, we just can't always do that.
Mhm.
I just want to say, hearing both of your stories and knowing Lath's story, because I can relate to Lath's story, and especially something that Lath doesn't have to deal with is I look like an 80s villain. I look like every white supremacist that's out there creating all the issues. I mean, I know what I look like, and I'm like, damn it.
Complete with police glasses.
Right?
You know you're about to get one.
No, I know. And
I was like, no one made
and I'm
those aviators.
aware of this. And it's this weird thing that, like, I grew up, like, being this outcast pretty much my entire life, especially being as big as I was. I mean, it was bigger than the boys. So I was bullied by the boys and the girls. And, I was very lone wolf in that situation. And Lath, from what I've learned and know about him and had a few conversations, it seems like that's kind of been the same thing. And it seems to be the trend with a lot of trans masc individuals because there's like this complex layer of like misogyny that plays into these roles that affect trans women and trans men. And it's like you wake up in this body as a child and you have these expectations put on you that are already secondary on earth. I mean, women, we have to admit, are genuinely always treated less than men. And that is ingrained into you as a child. And to have that ingrained into you simultaneously while not having any support or access with the privileges that allegedly come with a cis person, but then having the ideology that you have all that access just because you pass, it sucks a lot of the time because I find myself in these spaces where it's like you said, folks who just are looking for that pocket to misunderstand you, or I call it looking for your neck. They're always looking for, and that's why I have to be very careful when I'm in community, when I'm in space, but at the same time, as a white individual, I'm still highly appreciative of my community calling me out and calling me in the ways that I have, because in the 15 years of activism, who I was then, I didn't have the collegiate language to know where I was or what I was saying. And I don't even know if Lath necessarily, I mean, he may now, but when he was saying it in that moment, I don't think he had the language because there's been no investment in trans masc folks. Like that trickle down, like that folks don't seem to understand is if women are treated like shit, how do you think trans masc guys are treated? Because that Reaganomics, that oppression, we're not a sexual commodity even. So we are just pure violence only. And people hate women. So it's almost like an excuse to hurt women. And trans masc folks and non-binary folks, or really anybody that's AFAB. And it's this excuse for society to just attack these folks, because I relate daily to lesbians still as a trans masc because they're afraid to go to the bathroom when they go to their bathroom. They're getting attacked just because they're being perceived as trans masculine, and they get jumped. And that's what happened in this whole Nyx situation. I mean, I know Nyx was non-binary, but if I was trans today and young and 16 and still finding myself, I probably would be identifying as non-binary first because it'd be a little safer. And I would probably lean into my masculinity later as I was older. And a lot of trans guys do that. They come out as non-binary first. And some folks stay non-binary. It's whatever. But I see even myself in that next situation because from a very early age, the bathroom was always a problem because I was getting bullied by both the girls and the boys. So I just held it and I didn't go at school. And what I'm hearing in your stories, and I hear in Lath's story and my story, and just really both sides of it, it's like two sides to the same coin of the same feeling of the same pain. And I feel like we all just need to acknowledge that. and give that space for each other. Like it's
Yeah.
not an oppression
Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah, that's why I abhor any kind of infighting within the community because it only provides them with divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Because if we're not a united front, and none of us should have to be perfect to be able to be supported. So if I say something out of line, it doesn't mean that you can just condemn everything good that I've done for the community.
Absolutely.
Like that doesn't make any sense. And guess who doesn't think like that? Far right Republicans.
No.
They have idiots say the wrong thing all the time and they stand right behind them and they win it every time. Fucking us.
Yeah.
Like, can we cut the shit? Stop the
I
infighting.
tell this to Blossom all the time. Like one of the biggest problems I think with our community is this idea that we have to be morally perfect in order for us to all get behind that one person.
None
And
of
then
us are.
And no one can
None
meet
of us are.
this